Nintendo announced the Nintendo Labo, and everybody wants us to talk about it. I was doing a live stream the other day, and they're like, "Oh, have you heard about the Nintendo Labo?" And I'm like, "No, what's that?" So I looked it up, found out about it. I didn't even know about it, so that's why we're a little late to doing this video. So I looked at it. My initial reaction was, okay, it's cardboard, and a little kid will look at that, and they probably would want that. I think a little kid would look at that and be like, oh crap, I want that. That looks really cool.
Right.
When I was a little kid, and you were a little kid, back in the 80s with Nintendo, they released things like the Power Glove. And when I heard about that, and I guess I saw it in The Wizard with Lucas, and he's like, oh, it's so bad. I was like, oh my God, I have to have that. You know, it was advertisement. And then I went to the store with my mom. We got the Power Glove, brought it home, and it was like I thought it was the most awesome thing ever. It was like this cool glove that you could wear and play video games with. The idea of it sounded awesome. And then I hooked it up, I started playing it, and we all know the Power Glove sucked. Are kids really going to enjoy it? Is the question, and I don't know yet because we don't have it here, to test out, or do we?
So, right here, I have this. This is the Nintendo Labo.
Yeah.
Here, no, but in all seriousness, it's the way it works is there's two sets. There's the activity set, and then there's the one with the backpack.
You put on the backpack, like the
backpack,
pack.
And then there are the individual Toy-Cons, which are like the individual packages for the different types of things.
But you're kind of making a joke here out of this. But everybody on YouTube's making that joke. But you can go to the store right now. You can go to Home Depot. You can buy cardboard. And I almost wonder, like, once the actual Nintendo products are out, aren't people like on Etsy and other sites going to be making this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, there's already people making like the walking one.
Right.
There was videos on YouTube about people making things. And I think if anything good comes out of Nintendo Labo, it's that people are starting to think about like things you could do with your hands. Anytime anybody has like a creative urge, that's like a really good thing. And I think Nintendo Labo is an interesting product? Sure. Do I think it's going to be a good product? I'm not sure yet, but I'm leaning towards no. However, I think like the spirit of it from Nintendo is a good thing. When Nintendo tries to do creative things,
sometimes it works and
sometimes it works. There's a lot of things. You go back to Rob the Robot. You go back to like Stack Up and all of those games that came from that. They're not the greatest games, but it's a really cool concept. You go with the Game Boy camera or the Game Boy printer. It's cool, but it's not the coolest thing ever. Virtual Boy. It's cool, but it's not the coolest thing ever.
You do have to give Nintendo credit for always trying something new and not just doing the same thing. And sometimes the ideas are flops. Other times they work. Look at the Switch. The Switch works.
But other times they're great. I mean, did Nintendo look at the Game Boy the same way that it looked at Nintendo Labo, or the same way that it looked at the Virtual Boy, or like it was a new experiment, going to Game Boy, and that became like this amazing staple. Look at the Wii. Nintendo's like, we're gonna explore motion control, and now all of a sudden you have the Wii, and it's a blockbuster. And the one thing I do have to say is one of my big early criticisms of the Switch was that the Switch has all of these sensors and all of these capabilities, and right now we only have 1-2 Switch to explore them.
And about 1-2 Switch. So when that originally was announced and we saw the announcement, I looked at that and I thought it was cool. I remember I probably saying in a video like, oh, you could play like Breath of the Wild and like with the Joy-Con and all that. It'd be kind of cool how. And then in practice, through actually using it, I played more of 1-2 Switch. I don't like that game at all. I think it's garbage. And I'm worried about the same type of thing. Sometimes Nintendo comes up with these kind of gimmicky things. Like we said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. 1-2 Switch looked like it might be cool, and I don't think it is. This looks like it could be cool for kids, but is it really gonna be? And I think, some kids probably will do well with it, but I think other kids are going, and that's it. It's gonna be like broken in 2 seconds, because that's what kids do.
There is a big and rising segment of STEM toys, of toys that involve programming and involve robotics and involve science in different ways. And Nintendo Labo looks like it's Nintendo attempting to capitalize on the STEM toys market, because just going back and looking at the toy market as a whole, action figures are down. Those type of like pretend toys that the 80s were so famous for are not doing as well as they used to. Unless it's a big license like Star Wars or something like that.
I think kids are more on their phones.
Kids are more on their phones. They're more
iPads.
on their iPads. My kids certainly are way more involved with technology than they are even with video games or toys. With the rise of games like Minecraft, Lego is down. I found out that Lego, or what they call building brick
The
toys,
actual physical.
are down, 25, 30%, that kind of thing. Versus, Minecraft is insane. It's going excellent, and it's growing.
I like the idea of it, that it's getting kids staring at their cell phones. It's getting kids to build something.
Right.
I like that idea of it. I just don't know that the thing's made out of cardboard, isn't it? And kids are gonna rip it up. I'm worried about that. And then the other thing is the price of it. You're paying for the game. It's a box, and there's the game in the box. You go out to the store and you buy, Zelda or something, $50, $60, and that's about the price of it. You may be paying a little bit more because it's a box and it has the cardboard things in it. But the thing about it is, let me tell you something. If this was the 1980s and I went to Toys R Us with my parents and I was like, oh, I want cardboard, they would have been like, fuck you.
You're gonna break this.
They would be like, I'm not paying for cardboard. And don't you think a lot of parents, frankly, are gonna be like, I'm not paying $60 to $80 for cardboard. I know the game's in there, but it revolves around cardboard, and I feel like a lot of parents won't pay for cardboard.
I feel like as a kid, parents were always afraid that kids were gonna break the cartridges, break the discs, break all that stuff. And like, if you look at like the Nintendo Labo keyboard, if you were to break
the piano
keys, if you were to break one of those, or the fishing rod, there's no way that fishing rod is resilient.
Right. As soon as the kid takes it and swings it, it's done.
Yeah, because he's going to want to cast or something like that. Then your $60 game is worthless. Your game, because you can't play the game.
And there will be some kids where that's going to be immediate.
Absolutely.
Or they'll rip it before it even is built.
So, what the thing about Nintendo Labo is, I feel like it is an attempt at Nintendo to capture an audience that it serves Nintendo far more than it serves the audience. No one really asked for this. I heard someone. I
think they're trying to make like the Wii had the Wii Fit,
right?
And they're trying to make the next thing.
But the Wii Fit is a heavy piece.
It's a plastic, exactly,
that you can jump on. And I mean that's the thing. I thought Wii Fit was really cool. I just the problem that Nintendo's trying to solve, or one of the problems I think they're trying to solve, is the cost of video game development is going up, while the inflation-adjusted cost of video games to buy is actually going down. So costs are going up, profits are going down when it comes per unit, per game, right? So what do? They need to have a pack-in. With the Wii, they tried to do it with all the plastic crap, like they
had a plastic bowling ball.
Plastic crap add-ons to the Wii. But with this, it's just an extension on that, and it's kind of being wrapped in this STEM, this educational toys package. I know I keep going back to trends in the markets and stuff like that, but another thing that is happening is parents are spending more money on enrichment activities than they are on toys and games. So whereas in the 80s and 90s, parents may buy their kids Super Soakers, now they're buying their kids computer programming camp, or they're buying them math camp, or they're buying them baseball camp.
Well, at the same time, though, even back then, I remember we got the Commodore 64 and we got our first computer, not for video games, but for the promise of, I will do my homework with this computer. But then you end up playing the video games.
Yeah.
So I think parents have always been trying to do that.
But that idea of we're buying things to make our kids more fit for the workplace or more intelligent is becoming more of a percentage of the family budget than toys are. So Nintendo's looking at that and they're like, parents are spending less money on like fun video games like Contra and Mario
Right.
and spending more money on things that make you learn, well, if we wrap our product in this, we'll remain relevant to those audiences. And even though Nintendo has made an appeal to the hardcore and to indie with the Switch, at the end of the day, despite anything that Nintendo says, their market does skew younger. So they have to take that into account. It's all like 3D chess. Yeah. You know, when it comes to...
while this is something, I think this is definitely geared towards kids. I mean, it's it's a very small piano. I think that this is something that kids are going to look at. Kids are going to want it. Honestly, I think Nintendo is smart to do this because I think that they're going to make a lot of money. Kids are going to want it. Kids are going to buy it. Parents are going to buy it for them, and parents are probably going to sit there and help them put it together. But I do think it'll probably break.
Yeah.
Most likely. I mean, I haven't messed with it, so I don't know. Maybe it's more durable than I know, but...
I think that the best example of this type of thing that Nintendo has ever done is Mario Paint. It came with the mouse pad, the mouse, and the game.
Well, that worked.
And it was a little bit more money, but it was hours and hours and hours of fun because there was no Photoshop. There was no...
Or years of fun.
I mean, Mike is still doing it now, so I guess that worked out. Do you think that Nintendo Labo will capture your imagination as much as Mario Paint did?
Well, Mario Paint, you're drawing, and you're doing multiple things. Drawing you can do forever, so it's like, that's kind of like saying Photoshop. It's like you can use Photoshop forever. With this, it's like, how much enjoyment are you going to get out of... I mean, I guess you could fish forever, so maybe... But the thing is, how many fishing games have there been throughout time? They'll come out with this fishing one, and then 2 months later, there'll be another fishing game, and then another one. It's like, I don't think...
Speaking of which, I really love the fishing in Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the
I remember kind of liking the fishing, actually, and it was Twilight Princess. There was fishing and whatever.
So there's fishing. The fishing in Nintendo Labo better be as deep as Twilight Princess or Stardew Valley. Nintendo's in maintenance mode when it comes to hardcore gamers. It's like, oh, here's a Zelda, here's a Mario, here's the next thing. Although
even the Mario game, like a Mario Odyssey, I feel like it's not the same. Super Mario Brothers was hard to beat the first Super Mario and do the whole thing. Mario Odyssey is not a hard game.
Do you think the moon is hard in Mario Odyssey?
After you beat the game, then it gets like harder, but it's like not hard like it used to be.
No, you're right.
You know?
You're right. Like if you look at Super Mario World as a whole and you look at like Tubular and all those stages, like it got hard before you got to that.
That's true.
Right?
There are stages.
Like the reason why Mario World is easy for us is because we have like the muscle memory of doing it for 20 years.
Right.
You know, like I bet you...
But it was hard when I played it back then.
Yeah, but I bet you if you played Mario World and you had never played it, you would have a much harder time of it than you actually do now.
Right.
Because it is a harder game. I think Mario World, while it's easier than Mario 3, which Mario 3 is like brutally hard, Odyssey is easier than both of them. I think that this is going to be one of those things, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope people get value out of it, where people buy it, they're really excited, they bring it home, they build it one night, and then it sits in a closet forever.
Yeah.
You know, and I also think that this is going to be a game that a lot of collectors buy because they're assuming that it's going to have like this crazy intrinsic value.
Because it's cardboard and it's going to fall apart, so if they keep it in plastic for 30 years, then it'll be worth something.
Right, but I think there's going to be tons of them.
Yeah, so tons of people are going to do that. And it's like back in the 90s. You remember when Superman died?
Exactly.
It was a big deal. They had it on Saturday Night Live. It was like a big deal. And then you go to the comic book shop, and everybody's collecting it. Now you can go on eBay and get them for $1.
Right. So it didn't matter that they all collected it. Like your X-Men #1 isn't worth anything. Your Death of Superman isn't worth anything, and your Nintendo Labo isn't going to be worth anything. I'm guessing that you're going to be able to find this thing on your Toys R Us clearance shelf very soon.
Basically.
Right.
I feel like that's the thing. How about this? The 1-2 switch, at this point in time, now nobody really cares about it. It's like done. I feel the same thing. This is going to come out. People are going to play with it for like a month, and then it's going to be another one of those things
Yeah.
that in a year from now, or a year after it comes out, nobody's going to care.
I feel like, you know, this is one of those things where Nintendo knows that they have their X million mega fans that are going to buy it. And then, you know, it's just going to sit. So I'm looking for those red Target stickers that go on the clearance. Get Nintendo Labo with the sticker on it.
Maybe we're being a little harsh on it. Like I said, I do think it's great that they're trying to do something that it could elevate young kids' minds through building. That's a good thing. And once we have the actual thing, maybe we'll do another video talking about it once we have it. Maybe it's better than we think.
The technology's cool. That much is true. The technology is really cool.
So
I mean, the fact that they can do the motion capturing and all of that and the sensing and
I think it has the same thing that the Nintendo Wii had in it, the sensor, but they're inside of it. I don't know exactly how it works, but
yeah, they have like the infrared sensor in the one. The two Joy-Cons have different sensors. So yeah, we're gonna check it out more. But again, overall, I'm not too excited based on what we saw.
Yeah, it's cardboard. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about it, and if you think that it's a great educational tool for kids' minds, or if you think it's a giant steaming pile of shit. So let us know.
Let us know.
Thanks.